Hello there YouTube, my name is Chuggy and today I am playing some Battlefield 3, playing some Rush on Operation Metro. And today guys, I've got what I think will probably be quite a controversial commentary for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the class system in Battlefield and how, as of late anyway, I think it just hasn't been working as it should be. Let me explain. So, to be fair, I'll preface this kind of commentary with a pretty big disclaimer. As of late, the last few weeks, months, whatever, I haven't had the opportunity to play as many games as I have done sort of for the rest of the year. Real life stuff, other games coming out, that kind of thing. I've just been busy, and as a result, I haven't been able to play Battlefield 3 as much. And it's strange how different the Battlefield is these days, I guess, in terms of the class play. Now, the reason I say that is that in previous Battlefield games you kind of knew the score when you went to go and play a kit and when you went to go and play against an opponent who was playing a kit. For example, you were playing Bad Company 2, say, you saw an assault, you knew, aha, assault rifle, pistol, and the defibs with an ammo box. So I know that I can fire at this guy, he can resupply himself with ammunition, but he can't heal himself directly. He would need a support for that, and I can't see that guy. So I might have a chance here. Whereas if I were to, say, run against a support guy, he's got that light machine gun and that health box. But that light machine gun isn't all that accurate, so I might have a chance here. You can kind of get the gist of your chances before you go into a potential fight. However, these days, to me, it just seems that the classes in Battlefield 3 seem to be sort of merging into one sort of grey class blob, which kind of is strange to me, I guess, is the best way to put it. I just really can't gauge how to play the game at the moment. And that's a real shame, to be honest. There are two reasons I love playing Battlefield. One is that you have to adapt, and to be fair, this might just be me needing to adapt a bit more to how the game is currently. More than likely it is. But the other thing which always used to bring me back to the game is that class system, and how each class had pros and cons. Each class had to be played in a particular way, and it was the finite balance, the team interplay of those classes, which won and lost battles. A good combination of people providing intel so people can attack bases, take on MCOMs, whatever the case might be. And that just meant Battlefield had infinite replay value for me. These days, as I've kind of said, that just doesn't seem to be the case. It just seems that all the classes are so similar and are being played so similarly that there's no real pro or con. It just feels like, well, a gun strategy. There's no strategy. There's no element of tactics to it anymore. Let's take, for example, the Assault class. Now, I think that it is arguable that the Assault class is the best all-round class in Battlefield 3. Not only are they equipped with a very, very versatile assault rifle, designed obviously for taking down infantry, they have the ability in Battlefield 3 to heal themselves and revive other players. That can be a very, very potent mix. The ability to take life, but also to give life back to your teammates and, of course, yourself now, that is a very, very powerful force to play against. But that, on its own, isn't necessarily the problem. I think the weapons are part of the problem these days, and the fact that they're all so similar. Take, for instance, the assault rifles. They all do, give or take a few points, the same amount of damage. The only real outlier in the group is the G3, because it does 33, I believe, per shot, rather than 20, I think, or 22, for the rest of the assault rifles. So the damage is basically the same across all of the rifles. On top of that, when you fire them, there isn't particularly much recoil. All you have to get used to is the way that the weapon pulls. And once you kind of get used to that, you kind of get used to all of them, it seems, anyway to me. And there's just no real advantage of using one particular weapon over another, because all the damage is the same, how they pull and everything's the same. And what I think that's accelerated is people being able to use the really fast firing weapons in the game really, really well. And the thing is, with all the weapons doing the same amount of damage, and pumping out loads of rounds per minute, of course a fast-firing weapon is going to win every single firefight. And of course, what does that encourage? Other people using the fast-firing weapons, because they get beaten by them. It's kind of encouraging this kind of, generic style of just eliminate enemy player play, which means that the roles do not, I should say, get played as they should be. I mean, think about it. When do you really see players play their role in a public game? basically whenever they need the health kit, the ammo, or someone in their squad calls for the revive, and even then you might not get it. It's kind of a real pity, because that means that, well, one of the 4 pillars as it is now of the game is gone, and as a result the rest kind of falters as well. Let's take for example the engineer. Now they're equipped with carbines by default, and carbines you can think of as baby assault rifles. They basically do the same amount of damage as assault rifles. They are roughly effective at the same ranges, although to be fair a little shorter, as assault rifles, and they have decent fire rates like the assault rifles. So you kind of again have this kind of generic weapon which doesn't really mean much. And again, you'll only really see engineers play their role, fixing vehicles, destroying vehicles, when they see the risk. So, oh no, enemy tank coming my way, if I don't destroy that, it's going to kill me. Or, if a teammate's calling out, hey, look, my helicopter's damaged, can you fix me up? And, it might happen then, but I could probably count on my hand the number of times in the 400 hours I've played Battlefield 3 where, a blueberry has come across and fixed up my vehicle. It's not good, really. And then you come on to the support and the recon classes. Now, these 2 classes are fairly passive in terms of their abilities. Recon spots enemies, it's up to the other players to decide what to do with that information, and the support provides ammunition. But the support, really, in my eyes, has really been hit badly by just the way that the classes are these days, and the way that the classes are structured in Battlefield 3. With the addition of suppression, which, to be fair, on its own I think is a good idea, but with the addition of suppression, and the fact that a light machine gun by nature is very inaccurate until you bipod it, the support class is basically a poor little walking duck, waiting for one of the assault rifles or carbines or whatever to pick them off. And it just doesn't encourage, the support class to play aggressively, say, go for choke points, set up the light machine gun and try and spray down targets. I mean, heck, even then with suppression, you'll probably more than likely become very inaccurate and die. It just seems really that the classes to me these days seem very, very, well, too similar, I guess. So I remember back when I used to play Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, we had, I think, 5 classes, and the thing was that you might be able to play a few of them well, but there's always going to be 1 or 2 which you couldn't play at all, just because your playstyle just couldn't fit properly into the way that you had to play the kit. And I think that's what's missing these days, to be honest. I think that there's kind of this idea of everyone has to be good at everything, or everything has to be so similar that everyone can do everything, which means that really there's no, if you will, uniqueness to the game these days. I mean, again, I'll be honest at this point, I haven't been playing much, so it might just be that I'm approaching this with the wrong sort of playstyle, motivation, whatever. I just need to adapt, which I can perfectly accept. But this kind of, not play the role, just everyone use these kind of generic style weapons which basically aren't really any different, it just is really ruining the experience for me. So with Battlefield 4 supposedly coming out this year, and obviously it probably having some changes in it, I was thinking, well, what would I change to try and remedy this situation? Well, the thing is, Battlefield as it is at the moment is designed to be a class-based game. And because the weapons and everything are so generic, and just the way you can play them is so generic, you kind of have pros and cons, For instance, if you've got a team of medics who are constantly reviving and giving each other health and whatever else, you being, say, a defender, being attacked by those medics, by those assault guys even, you're going to run out of ammo eventually, because as they revive each other, they're probably going to get closer. It's like having this unstoppable force coming at you. And, what's the point of you playing, to be honest, if you're in that situation? You aren't going to win. So really, I think what needs to be done is to actually perhaps even comprehend or contemplate the possibility of a single generic class. Work with the way that the game's being played. Make it so that there are no distinct classes. Instead, let the player build up their class as they want it. So say, you want to be a recon, so you spend, points, let's say, on the recon class. You get the spawn beacon, you get the tugs, and say you've got just a limit, and okay, you're a recon now, you can either have an assault rifle, or you can have this sniper rifle. or you can have this SMG, whatever else, and it has a cost to it. And you can load yourself up with equipment until obviously you don't overspend this limit. At least then you can kind of try and balance some of the problems we're seeing right now. Take, for example, medic trains. Let's say that you have a limit on the number of defibrillations that you can give. Let's say that for a couple of points you can get 3 revives. You have to then suddenly think very tactically on who you res and the situation that you res under. If, likewise, you might kind of go, well, I want the ability to revive all the time. There you go, you spent more points, you now can't have an assault rifle. You've got to balance that out with perhaps using a submachine gun instead. At least then you'll have to have the player sort of think, okay, the situations I find myself in, and then you kind of have them develop the styles and skills based on that. And I think then at least you'll start to see a bit more team play where you have different styles of play rather than this generic one which fits this kind of generic weapon and generic class. So really guys, I think that the class system is a bit broken right now, and again, I'll be honest, I haven't been playing the game much, or as much as I have done as of late, so this might just be me coming back and having some fresh eyes on it, I don't know. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this. I love playing Battlefield, don't get me wrong, but it is so frustrating these days to find that one of the pillars which I used to love playing the game for just seems to be eroding. And, well, that's never good times. So anyway guys, I'd love to know your opinions on this. The class system is one of the cornerstones of the Battlefield franchise. Is it broken? Does it need a rethink? I'd love to know your opinions on this, and well, if you agree, disagree with what I've been saying. I really do hope that there is some sort of nice solution to this, and but yeah, just as of late, I haven't been enjoying my Battlefield, and that's a shame really. Anyway, I'll digress. The end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the commentary, doing a little bit of aggressive recon work there with the M40, using it very much like an old school World War II style rifle, you know, one shot, high power, you know, etc. Good fun. I recommend doing that if you want a bit of a challenge. It's rewarding when you get it right, and obviously you get killed when you get it wrong. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so very much for watching this video. If you have any comments on what I've talked about today, I would love to know them. Seriously, I would love to know your thoughts on this. So please do feel free to leave that down in the comment section below. If you could leave a like, dislike, whatever you believe this video deserves, that'd be fantastic. And if you're new to my videos and you want to see more from me, you can always subscribe. So anyway guys, thank you so very much for watching. As always, I've been Chuggy, and I'll see you next time out on the battlefield.